So good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So we started the recording. So we are just waiting for our director Abirul Ansari Sahab to come and join. Then we'll start the inauguration process. So our co-coordinator Dr. Sunaina is also here. So I made a phone call to our director, sir. He will be joining in a moment. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A very good morning to all the participants that are there. And as you know, we are starting this conference that is spread for the next 4 days. We are starting today, that is 21st of May, and then it will be going on for next 4 days. So I am Dr. Saif Siddiqui, the co-coordinator of this IMC 2021. And with my co-coordinator, Dr. Sunaina, we welcome all the participants for this IMC 2021. As you know, because we have distributed and we have forwarded the brochure earlier also, and the date of the conference was April 6th and 7th. But as you are aware, this COVID is going on, and a number of other the problems were there. So due to all these problems, some technical issues, some admin issues were there. So we couldn't. At that point of time, we're not able to, this conference couldn't take place at that moment of time, and this, the COVID cases rises after that. So again, this conference could not be held. Now, what we have done afterwards, that we decided, because the theme of this particular conference is the innovative management. So we try to think a bit innovatively, and we are just using innovation in terms of the conference. What we are doing here, we are simply a unique method is there. Maybe just 15-20 days back, even I was not aware of this method, that conference can be done with the help of this particular method. Now we are having a particular YouTube channel for the conference, fine. So, sir, Director Sahab is also here. Welcome, sir. So, we normally organize 1 or 2 conferences in a year. But this couldn't happen in the last 2020, because again the lockdown was there, and the mood of the academic fraternity was not so high, so we didn't do it. So now we have planned this conference for 2021, and now we will doing it on the YouTube. And as the participants, as you are all aware, that what we have done, we have asked for the videos from your side. And just to inform you, sir, and Furqan sir, we have received more than 150 abstracts, fine. So, and the papers were really good. And as you are aware, different universities are participating. The participants from different universities are here. So what we are doing, actually, sir, just to share something, the theme actually we took was innovative management in the troubled time. So most of the papers were very much related to the subject, and they are really good. But again, we were having a number of, as you know, sir, I discussed a number of times, and we discussed a number of times with you, like how to actually go, with the conference. So as per your advice and all, Furqan sir is also here, as the advice of my senior most teacher of the department, we actually planned this thing in a way that, it looked like a live conference. So the participants, all of them have seen the video channel, YouTube channel, and they are in communication with us also. So we are very hopeful that we will be able to conduct this conference, and the theme is quite relevant for this time period. And sir, and for the participant, may I tell you, in the panel today, we are having 2 learned personalities of management education. One is Dr. Professor Furqan Kamal sir. He is the founder director of the Center for Management Studies. He has worked as Advisor and Planning Commission. He founded the Central University of Himachal also. He worked as a VC in the University of Rajasthan also. He also joined as the Secretary General for AIU. So, and most importantly, he's my teacher also. He's taught me in BCom and MCom program. So I'm really, really indebted to him. And the next personality is our present director of the Center for Management Studies, Professor Abirul Ansari Sahab. And For the last 3-4 years, I've been working, and Sunaina and I am working under his guidance, and we have learned a lot from him. So first of all, I am inviting, or we are inviting, on behalf of Sunaina also, I am inviting Professor Amirul Ansari Saab, the director of the center, to formally welcome you all the participants, and because he is an HR expert, so I think we will also demand him to throw some light on the HR aspects also, sir. So would you welcome all the participants formally? And if you, I don't know, how I must have requested you for a long lecture, but the time is not there, sir. But please, please be formally welcome, and just enlighten us on some about HR issues and the COVID period, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Over to you, sir. Amirul Ansari, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Saab Sahab, for inviting me to this very conference. And first of all, I would thank Professor Furqan Qamar Sahab, that who has joined this very meeting, this conference. And I know that he is very much busy, definitely. He's doing a lot of his studies at home and doing other works also. And so thank you very much, sir. I welcome you to this very program. And Dr. Sunaina, I know that yesterday I've been talking about the other activities of our ensuing examination and all. You have spared time to join this conference. So thank you very much. I welcome to this one. And most importantly, the participants who are sitting at distant places, they have been able to join this very program and send different papers on the theme which Dr. Saab Siddiqui Sahab has mentioned about this very conference. The innovative management practices in different areas, definitely like education, finance, marketing, strategy, travel and tourism, and many more, like entrepreneurship also. See, as you are saying, Dr. Saab Sahab, that the participants have definitely sent papers in different areas, and I'm sure the deliberation on the different issues on the theme will enrich the participants, and also I'll be learning by listening there. And I welcome all the participants to this very conference, and I wish your deliberation, if it could have been face-to-face, definitely. Offline, then it could have been better. You could have been having lunch together, a cup of tea together, online. This one is missing. But I welcome, despite all these things, I welcome to this very program. See, this innovative management practices, this is a COVID time, in fact. If you look at that, the demand of the time is to know that how people are going to manage in different spheres of education, finance, HR, or marketing, or any other area, or big or small industries, whatever. Everywhere you need human resources. People are needed, definitely. But this COVID has created certain, challenges. Like social distancing has to be maintained in this COVID. There are many people who are saying that the terminology social distancing should not be there, because socially means when you are connected with people at social level, so that distance should not be there. Rather, I personally would say that physical distance, okay, fine, because this this pandemic, spreads through, contracting some viruses at a certain distance places. Now, in our organization, what will happen when the people are already they were working in different organizations, but because of this, they are keeping distant places. Now, whether small, industries where human resources were few in numbers, they are almost closed. They are rather closed. When the big industries are impacted, wherein the industries have been taking care of people who are sitting at distant places. And because of the disease, they are being hospitalized. They are needing some oxygen, some medicine, and the vaccination process is also implemented by different organizations. So like our university has also started vaccination process for quite some time. People gone through that also. In the same way, uh, people have been facing troubles, and industries had to develop certain strategies, which is different. The conventional strategies are not working now. Some other strategies are developed by companies to take care of the people who are working from home. So work from home is a new strategy. It has been developed. And taking care of human resources who are working from home is also very, very challenging for the organizations. Okay, so a new policy. The leave, for example, the leave is not working. The policy of leave, which was already working in present scenario, the new thing has to be chopped out. New policies have to be innovated. New strategies have to be designed. So this pandemic, how long it is going to continue, I think it is very difficult to predict. And because of that, definitely the innovative practices in management has to be there. So those who are working from home, the companies have to provide certain kinds of network facilities. Maybe employees who are working from home, they are not apt in they are not IT savvy, and they are facing problems. So again, there is a training. The training has to be provided to them. That again, training not at the physical mode. Okay, one is at home, and then the infrastructure has to be provided. The finance has to be generated for the for such kind of people. Now a different finance area has to be explored, that how these kind of people should be managed and how they should be financed. So not only this, the recruitment process is definitely interacted through online. Okay, you can have face-to-face interview, but earlier the body gestures, the facial expressions, the tone, and many other aspects used to be evaluated and measured, and then the decisions used to be made. Now here online, everybody is not going to be there, because this is our experience. We know that not everybody is joining online, and those who are working from home, whether they are really working. So the HR manager, for HR manager also, there is a big challenge. So I think the kind of many issues will come. The taking care of their families, which was happening earlier in industry. The industries provided residence to them, and now this sanitization of all those places have to be done. New policies have to be developed. The innovative ideas have to be developed. So this is what I said, that how long this one is going to happen, nobody knows. It is very difficult to, at least for me, it is very difficult to predict the kind of people will take. Because the mental, the agony people are have developed is a big challenge for the industry. You can have a physical distance, fine, but the kind of fear that people have in their mind, how you are going to remove with that fear, with that anxiety, with that kind of depression people have started developing, how you are going to make people to work even from home is a big challenge. So you as an industry, as an organization, I think you need to develop certain innovative management practices which can work in different spheres of life, where with the human resources are involved. And I'm sure the participants who have contributed to the papers will address all these issues in detail, and it will benefit not to the participants, but also to us, and also maybe to government, and the government would be able to understand that what kind of academic activities are being performed for the for developing new policies, some innovative policies where the socio-economic and socio-political scenario of any industry, of any society can be changed and redesigned with innovative management practices. So anyway, once again, I'll say I welcome all the participants to this very seminar conference, and I'm very thankful that you have invited me to say a few words. Definitely on this very occasion, I wanted to talk a lot, but because of the paucity of time, definitely I say that thank you very much for inviting me here. So thanks a lot, and welcome all the participants. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir, for the formal welcome and for the kind words in terms of HR and the pandemic situation we are having. Now, may I request Professor Furqan Khamat Sahab, the founder director, the senior most professor of the center, to come and to enlighten us, all of us, including myself and the coordinator and the other teachers of the department, and enlighten us on different issues that you think are very relevant for the conference. Sir. Please, sir, you join.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Saif Siddiqui Sahab, and the co-coordinator of this 4-day national conference, Dr. Sunaina, for giving me this opportunity to be here in the inaugural of this 4-day conference, which is being held in a very, very innovative mode. Dr. Saif, you've been perhaps very modest when you said that you could not do as well as you wanted to. So it is good that you want to make it better than ever, better than before. But even this time, despite all the constraints and limitations and all the challenges, you have all worked very hard. So thanks to you, congratulations to you both, and also to the leadership of the center. You could mobilize more than 140 abstracts, out of which 140 full-fledged paper, 15 to 20 minutes videos from each of the participants you have already collected, grouped, collated, and it is just available to be released. And all of these participations are not from Delhi only. I was just going through the list that you provided, so I could see that there are papers from central universities like Delhi University, Aligarh Muslim University, Mizoram. IIMs are represented here by their faculty. The Stand-Alone Management Institute, some of the premier ones, faculty from there have also participated. There are plenty of many of the state universities ranging from north of India to northeast to south of India, as far south as from Kerala, east of India, like there are many papers from Kolkata, and also some private universities, leading private universities in management education. So it must have been a challenging task, and congratulations to you all in advance for getting this done, and this will be released tomorrow. You have chosen a very pertinent topic. What more can be more disturbing than the kind of situation in which we are presently now? I would not call that we are facing an unprecedented kind of a pandemic or situation hardship, because we may not have experienced in our life, but our parents and forefathers did experience something similar way back in 1918 to 1920 in the form of the Spanish flu. But yes, in this century, this is for the first time that we experienced so much of challenge to our life, to our livelihood. And therefore, how is the management across different functions responding to these challenges is a very, very pertinent issue to be discussed, to be deliberated, so that we have some idea as to how are they responding and coping with these challenges. And with these faculty members and researchers participating and contributing in large number, of course, all of them are experiencing this pandemic for the first time. And this must have been a horrifying kind of an experience for them. And they are all well versed in their own discipline. So they are combining their experience about uncertainty with their knowledge of the discipline. And I'm sure that they must be contributing in a very big way in these video papers that you have collected. I'm personally also very happy that you have chosen education as a sector, as a theme, along with the functional areas of management. And this is one sector about which I know a little bit. And I know that though all segments of the society and the economy did experience challenge, so was the case with the education sector. The pandemic, in fact, forced us, we were always taught that management is about taking a trade-off decisions. You are never able to get the best of all. So rather, you gain some, you lose some, and therefore all decisions in management are about trade-off. But we had never thought that the trade-off this time would be to save life or to save livelihood. Of course, like all other economies and the nations, we also chose to save life. And therefore, the lockdown, either nationwide or then state-wise or local lockdown, and then economies operating at a much lower scale, all of these had to be done in order to save life, but it seriously impacted the livelihood. Barring a few sectors or barring a few companies, which made profits, sometimes huge profits, barring the stock market, which somehow managed to go up rather than come down, most other economies, the sectors of the economies were experiencing difficulties. The worst affected would have been the real estate, the automobile industry, the overall slump in demand for various kinds of products. So all of these challenges were there, and we saw that people and organizations were responding to these challenges. For example, or there were many things which we thought would not be possible or could never be implemented with this speed, became so successful and so speedily implemented. For example, earlier studies were showing that notwithstanding all the advantages of online trading, window shopping, shopping from the convenience of home, not leaving out, it was not getting popular. But the pandemic saw it, like people using online ways of procuring goods and services, and all kinds of goods and services. It became a success. Education is one such sector where the technology existed. There were people who were talking about that we need to change the way the teaching and learning is organized on the campuses. They were talking about that do the flipped classroom, don't use time to deliver lecture. All these lectures could be learned through online contents and through video, etc. But then we always had inhibitions, reservations. But as economies were locked down, so the campuses were also closed to the teacher, to the students. and whole teaching learning process were managed or were run through a kind of virtual mode or in a remote way. Everybody would say that teachers lacked necessary skills to use technology, but right from the remote rural areas to metropolitan town, teacher on their own volition somehow started learning one technology or the other. In fact, if you see the history, the universities officially issued circular letter and the teachers on their own volition started using technology and engaging with their students. Not only that, so remote teaching, it became popular. Of course, there were technological constraints. It is worth studying that how did students manage. I recently discovered from the courses that I am teaching that almost 85% students are attending classes using mobile phones rather than laptops or desktops. So using mobile phone, okay, provides connectivity, but then also limits the way and the extent to which they learn, because simultaneously they can't see many screens, etc. But anyway, the education system responded to those challenges. But still, it's a point of research to see that, okay, good, we all engaged our classes, we all migrated our teaching online in a virtual mode. A student also responded despite technological constraints and the digital divide. But what happened to the learning? What are still the challenges with regard to the examination and the evaluation? So there are many dimensions across all sectors. For example, how did the companies cope? For example, the pandemic provided regulations from the government, say, for example, to schools, that, okay, you must not insist on charging fees from students because students' parents have lost their livelihood. And on the other hand, there is a circular that you must not reduce salaries of the teachers who are working there. So now the question is that anybody who is in the finance and education sector could not make profit. Maybe some were making hidden profit, but most were not. So how to manage under these kind of situation? How to retain your labor even when you have stopped your production? Rather than operating 3 shifts, you are operating only single shift, or you have not operating your factories even for weeks together. So challenges all around. Some we know, many we do not know. For some, we know how to respond. For most, we do not know how to respond. So I think these 100 participants, and given full time, normally if you had organized this seminar face to face, perhaps people would have been given 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. But now everybody has got an equal opportunity to share, of course, within 20 minutes, and 20 minutes is a reasonably good time to present your research to people. And since these things would be available to larger participants, so not only these 100 people who are participating in the conference would respond, but maybe depending on the reach and the way it is publicized, a very, very large segment of the academics would want to benefit, would want to comment, would want to add to these papers. And this is going to be a great learning experience for all of us. So congratulations and thank you again for this initiative and for this opportunity. Over to you, to Dr. Saif.
Thank you very much, sir, for these words and for giving us the basic knowledge. And as far as is for the participants, so he is full of knowledge, and if we ask him to speak for just 5 or 10 minutes, so it's not good for the academics. So we must be asking for more. But for this inaugural lecture, I think. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Sunaina, would you come in for the vote of thanks, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Saif. If we look at the situation, we can understand that it is really very important to come in front when the situation is really adverse and the environment is not very good. It is really important to understand, to explore the best practices which can improve the situation, which can help people. And in the same line, when we were thinking, initial idea was to, create a platform where people can come with their unique ideas, their own way of looking at the problems across the sectors, so that people can come, they can discuss, they can develop, they can create valuable researches which might end in some valuable results in terms of policy making, in terms of helping the humanity as a whole. First of all, I would like to thank Director Professor Amirul Hansari Sahab. He's always have a unique type of humanitarian approach. So we'll keep his advice in mind that it is not social distancing, it is a kind of physical distancing which is taking place. And it's always good to see people without mask, otherwise whenever you look outside, everybody's wearing mask and other things. So it's suffocating, but now it's a good thing that I can see full faces, smiling people around me. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Professor Furkan Kamar Saab. He's a mentor, he's a coach, he's a person who has been guiding us, and we are really blessed with his presence in the center. And sir, the question is indeed very disturbing that what more can be more disturbing? I mean, there are a number of things if we try to make a list these days while sitting in home, everybody is becoming a thinker in their own way. So we have more list of more disturbing things rather than things with the help of which we can cope up with the situation. So yes, of course, a positive insight is needed in such situation where people can come together and have a little chit chat with each other, and they can understand that everybody is in same pace. Well, I'll take advantage of this platform, and I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Professor Najma Akhtar Sahiba, to provide us an opportunity, to provide us a lot of administrative support and approvals wherever it has been needed in order to conduct the conference. And all the faculty members of Center for Management Studies. Initially, me and Seb, we were little disturbing. We were disturbed when we are not being able to hold the conference on time. But later on, I personally realized that that was a good thing. Eventually people were continuously contacting me. There were problems at their homes. Some people were suffering on their own, and they were asking for more and more time. Some people were collecting data at that point of time. So in the end, I realized that everything is actually happened for a good thing, and the result is really good. They get their own time, they come up with their respective results, and they have submitted everything with I think they were smiling because we have given them ample amount of time to finish whatever they wanted to do. Well, I want to extend my gratitude to all the participants, teachers from different universities, academicians, scholars, and all the experts, those who have accepted our request and sent their videos in order to address the participants. So thank you very much, everyone. And in the end, I would like to thank the team of International Management Conference 2021. This is really hard to take names because this team was, we were calling some people, they were having problems. Sadly, some were suffering on their own. For some participants, I mean team members, their family members were suffering. So we keep on adding other people. We keep on changing our approach in order to, make this program somehow possible. And uh, not last and least, but Dr. Saif Siddiqui sitting in front of us. He's the one who, I mean, entire responsibility was in his shoulders. Technically, he was taking care of almost everything. So thank you very much, Saif Saab. Without you, I mean, it was not at all possible at all. In the end of this inaugural session and in the beginning of this conference, I wish that all of us will enjoy the coming 3-4 days, and we'll have a good discussion with the wise words shared by all the people, wise people, researchers, So welcome to the conference, and thank you very much for sharing your ideas and researches with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And I think we can formally close this inaugural session. Thanks to all. Sunil ma'am, Khan sir and Amir sir, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.